Hello, thank you for joining me. I'm all dressed up in my warm jacket, etc., to go and collect some meds and to do a little bit of shopping. The theory being that I will give the car a bit of a run whilst I'm out. And it's decided that it really just doesn't want to start, so it's on charge. And rather than take my jacket and everything back off, I'm going to talk to you like this. In fact, I've been seen wearing a hat for a little while now, but it's always been outside, and that's been on purpose so that I had a reason for wearing the hat. But in fact, I do have another reason, so I'm being open and honest with you here again. I have a patch of skin here that looks absolutely awful. It has been checked. It's in the throes of healing. It is not malignant, but it's just taking a while to heal. And it's uncovered. I have to put cream on it, and I'm not allowed to put any makeup on it, though I have cheated a couple of times and put a bit of powder on. But as it did seem to really set it back, I've stopped that, and I do cover it. It's not for vanity. I nearly said sanity there. Maybe for my sanity. It's not for vanity. It's just that it really doesn't look very nice. And if I'm recording, most people are fine, but there have been people in the past who've said things like, "Oh, what are all of those scars on your face?" i.e. my wrinkles. And they've questioned other bits and bobs about me. So I didn't want to leave myself vulnerable to that. Normally I can take it and, forget it. But I just did not want to add to my list at present. So maybe now I've fessed up, I can wear my hat and do some recordings inside rather than sit out in the summer house with my teeth chattering. And those who know and care will understand, and the rest will just think, what's that batty old woman doing? So this batty old woman, I can feel this is gradually slipping down. This batty old woman is going to talk a little bit about dating. I did say that I would do this, and I began dipping my toe into the dating scene many, many years ago. After my breakdown, after I'd recovered, I thought, let's have a go. And I bought a local newspaper and spread it on the bed and went through, and I had no idea what any of the initials meant, so I had to check upon that. And there were one or two that I contacted. So I then moved on to a national newspaper, and that was worse because most of them were London-based. So I went on a dating site. And yeah, it was interesting. And I just want to basically say, take care. I'm very wary. I'm a belt and braces person. And the first guy that I met, I had obviously arranged to meet out in public, but even so, two friends said, right, where are you going? We'll go there and we'll work out a sign that if you feel comfortable, we'll go. But if you want us to intervene, we will. So I insisted that I was fine. But I did see them lurking in the car park. But then they they disappeared because obviously I was looking reasonably relaxed. In other words, my knees weren't knocking as I was walking. So the thing is, you find that a lot of people are not very truthful. And for me, that's a no-go. I have met two people that I really liked being with, but sadly it was not meant to last beyond a year or so. But that was a nice time. But there have been others. One who said he was a pilot. Fine, okay. And he contacted me, so I replied. And he asked for my phone number, so I thought, right, okay, let's give him this. So we were talking, and I said, so which airline do you fly for? Oh, several. Really? What type of plane do you fly? Oh, several. So I said, okay, honestly, are you a pilot? Well, no, I'm a baggage handler at the airport. Had he said that in the first place, no problem. But it was the lying, to try and make himself appear something that he wasn't, something that he obviously felt would give a better impression. So I just said, look, if I were you, I would just tell the truth. And another guy, the photograph looked really nice and wanted to communicate. But somehow, for me, the photograph didn't tie in with the words. And don't ask me why. A lot have photographs either in army or some military uniform or with a stethoscope round their neck. But this one hadn't. Anyway, I Googled the photograph and it was someone in the American Senate. So I messaged this guy back, and I said, well, I really don't think that you have the time to communicate with me because of all the work that you do and being in the Senate as well. Funnily, I didn't hear from him again, but I did let the site know what was going on. So, yeah, but the worst one, I think, was whenever I arrived anywhere, I always insisted on meeting outside a place. I've never been one for walking into a pub on my own. But if it was a second meeting or subsequent meeting, I would be happy to do that because I knew who I was looking out for. So anyway, this was a first meeting. This guy pitched up on a motorbike. Fine. I was parked near the exit, facing the exit, as I always did. Anyway, he said, can you just open your boot a minute? Okay. He says, I've got you a little present. Now, some people had brought along a bouquet of flowers, which was always lovely. This guy had brought a frozen trout with him. So he said, I've brought a cloth here. You can wrap it in this and put it in your boot and it won't have defrosted by the time you get home. Okay, fine. So the gift of a fish is always readily accepted. Anyway, we went in and chose a table, and I said, oh, if you'd like to sit there, so that I had an open access for getting out. He was the one who was penned in. And we started chatting, and he said, well, you seem all right. So talk about damned by faint praise, but I accepted it. And he then started rummaging in his pocket and he pulled out a knife and slammed it on the table. This was for in case you weren't okay. Well, I just pushed the table as hard as I could, jamming him in even more, and fled. Leapt into my car and went very much roundabout to get home. So, yeah, those are the interesting experiences. There have been lots of funny ones. There have been some really lovely ones. And I certainly kept staff in one of my schools entertained by my tales. They would say, okay, so what's going on now? Please tell us. And they'd sit down over coffee for the latest gin. So on that note, and to say that I no longer go on the sites, I just quite used to being solo, and that's it. My last experience wasn't the person was nice until I found out that they were telling a lot of lies. And that was it. And I had said to them, I have an issue of trust, and I really, really don't cope with being lied to. So that was that. On that note, I shall go and see if my car is still charging. I think I need to leave it a good while yet. It has been a little bit, but we shall see. Thank you for joining me. Take care. Bye for now.